So let us invite Toastmaster Nancy, our D-Tag champion for evaluation and table topics, to the stage, and she will later call Toastmaster Christine.
Before I even contested, people would clap and I was so scared I'm going to cry. Blame all my emotions on my pregnancy, guys. I'm so emotional and I don't even know why. People usually express their gratitude at the end of the journey. I don't want to keep it towards the end because I want to acknowledge all those who have been a part of my journey. Some of them could not make it, but all the rest of you here who I have called personally, I just want to say thank you. I know you don't feel you have done so much in my journey, but you have truly played a very, very, very important part. In the most subtlest of ways you might think, but for me, it made a huge difference. I've started my Toastmaster journey with a couple of people like DTM Wafa, DTM Alka, TM Anand, who should be DTM soon, TM Elvis. We've all started together. DTM Crispy? DTM Crispy. I'm still getting there. DTM Dr. McClure. I call him the dog. He's my dog. That's what I always say. And Deepak. And later on, there were a couple of other people who came into my life and who lifted me up. I have to start with Kaji and Raymond. I cannot express my gratitude enough. How much they've done for me, like words cannot express it. They lifted me up when I was down. When I said I'm done with Toastmasters, they lifted me up. Kaji sat with me, he planned the entire journey for me. Unfortunately, I fell ill for a short time. Please don't start that time yet, okay? I fell ill for a short time and we thought the plan's going to get messed up because I couldn't speak. My tongue got paralyzed in between the whole thing. I couldn't speak. But I didn't want to let Kaji's efforts down. I didn't want to let Raymond's effort down. I wanted to do it. I wanted to be on track and God's grace we are. The third set of people who I would always want to express my gratitude, Kuwait challengers. I have nothing to say except thank you. You see how many of them are there from challengers today. I've been around praising challengers not just because I'm good with fancy words, it's because I mean it. And then there's a second family of mine, I would say DPTM. These guys have always been there. They're not physically there, but whenever they're physically there, they've always made, that ruckus, that crazy noise which gets you charged up. One of them is on the way. He said he just woke up and he got lost. I think you better come now. And he's on his way. I have to thank you all. Sam, you've been very important to me. I must take this opportunity to say that. Because when, people who lift you up when you are down are people who are meant to be in your life. And they are there for a purpose. And in that list comes Sam, Fatima, Tejaswi, and Arun. And little Nuhai here, she's always there, the last person who I want to be really, really grateful to is my husband Vijo. He said he wants to learn the art of evaluation from me. That's a big fat lie. He's the one who evaluates me constantly at home. If he listens to my speeches, he gives me such critical evaluation that I pick up a fight with him at that moment. I go back to bed, I think about it, and everything what Vijo said is true. And then I work on it. But women, we don't let them know what the men say are true, so we don't acknowledge it, but then we go and get it done. And then I have my little one there. When you have your child look up to you and you're on stage. At DTAG, this is something, there are two things that charged me. One is the crowd support and my club's support in particular. I'm like, I can't let these people down. And second, at the corner of the room, there was my little one looking up to me and I'm like, God, I can't fail in front of her. I must, because whatever I do there, even if I fail, she would star-eyed look like my mom's a star. I'm only a star in front of her, but still she has that look. And before I start, thank you. Thank you. And now, timer, we can start. Okay. My father always told me that you are truly not a champion until and unless you share what you have. And when Mark, a while ago, Toastmaster Mark said the same thing, I'm like, Dad, I'm going to start with this because I got to honor you today as well. What happens during an evaluation? We rise and we help the speaker rise. Now it's very simple to remember what rise stands for. What is the Toastmasters value? What are the Toastmasters values? Rise. What is it? It's going to be a very interactive workshop. I don't have a presentation. It's going to be hands-on. What does RISE stand for? Toastmasters. Respect, integrity, service, excellence. Remember these 4 words when you think about evaluation. We're going to cover them one by one. Okay? We will start with integrity. Now, how do you evaluate a speech? This is not my method. This is a general method from which you will derive your own method. In the end, I will tell you my method. Whoever feels it's fine, you can go ahead with it. But the best way to do it is you derive your own method. You have your unique way of evaluation. That's the only way to go forward. That's the only way you can be you. Like T.M. Cajetan said, when you do a workshop, you don't want to create multiple versions of you. No. Then the workshop is a failure. You want to bring out the best in each person so that Arvind, when you are an evaluator, you are Arvind as an evaluator and not a copy of me or a copy of Arun or a copy of Tejasvi as an evaluator. That's how it should be. So we're going to have hands-on. Can you all turn your agendas to the side? Turn your agendas around. You have a free paper there. It's empty, a blank paper. It's going to be a hands-on workshop, so you have to write down. I don't know how much you can remember. Alright, all of you who have papers, just write. The rest of you try to figure it out. Okay? Like if you write, you can put it down and then it becomes more clear. Elvis is passing around papers. Thank you, Elvis. How many of you have seen the judges evaluation form? Okay. Now, there are 2 ways to evaluate a speaker. One is evaluate a speaker by their objectives, and the second set of evaluations which happen during a contest. Right? What happens during a contest is completely different. What happens during normal evaluations is completely different. A normal speaker's evaluation already has the objectives laid out for you. So it's going to be very easy. Only evaluate the speaker by the objectives given in that particular project. Imagine how horrible it would be if you have a person who's giving an icebreaker and you go on about vocal variety and how his body language was not right when he himself had shivered to be up on stage. So remember, the evaluation by objectives does not really need much of a role in today's training. What we would cover is when there's a general speech, how do you evaluate? A general 5 to 7 minute speech, which usually happens at a contest or elsewhere, how do you evaluate, right? So, what we're going to do together is derive a set of criteria by which we will assess the speaker. If you remember the evaluation form, the judge's evaluation form, there's a shortcut. It's called setback. Setback. Okay? Speech effectiveness, speech development, effectiveness, and a lot of others. Go back home and check it. It doesn't play a very important role, but I want you to just remember it so that when you give a speech or when you evaluate a speech, you remember these main points. Setback. Okay? Each of it has a role. Now, when you're evaluating a speech, there are different ways in which we can evaluate it. Simply put, delivery and content. Right? The delivery is again divided into 2. I just want you to make a mental frame, alright? Make a mental frame. Delivery is divided into 2. Body language and vocal variety. Now do not, when you're giving an evaluation, it has to be specific. We are covering integrity from rice now. Integrity. Whatever you say has to be valid, has to be appropriate, has to be solid. Do not, like when you say something like, your body language was not good enough, you could have done this instead of this. It doesn't make sense. Be specific in everything and every correction you say. So now we are in body language, right? What in body language needs to be addressed. What are the different things in body language? What is it? Gestures is what? You might want to just put head G, so you remember, hand gestures, because you're going to do an evaluation in the second part of the workshop. And these titles will help you, these little analogies will help you. So, head G, that's hand gestures. What else?
Stage movement.
Stage movement. Let's put it purposeful usage of stage movement. Remember, it's not whether the person moves from the left to the right, but is it purposeful? Does he have to move for this particular speech? If he's doing an oratorical speech, imagine he walks around the stage and speaks, it's not appropriate. Is it purposeful? That's one. Two. What are the others? What else are there in body language? Facial expressions. 3.
Eye contact.
Eye contact. 4. What else? Posture or stance. 5. And one more.
And body gestures supportive to the message you are trying to convey.
That's generic. Can we try to make it a bit more specific? What you're saying is right, but we need to make it specific because all these 5 that we said are generic, are specific. Let's break it down because that's how we evaluate. What's the next part?
It's friendliness or it's
That comes in vocal variety. That also falls under facial expressions. You're right. It falls under facial expressions again. Your leg movements and your leg strides. Even that is important. Let's cover body language again. What are the points that we're going to evaluate under? Okay, evaluate the person under. Starting with your eyes, just remember it from up to down. Eye contact, your hand gestures, your leg movements, your posture or your stance, and purposeful usage of speaking area and facial expressions. So you remember, you have all these written down. Now, we'll quickly cover. When a person looks, when a person speaks, where again we're dividing it into 3. This is just a mental thing, okay? Just so that you have an idea of how do you evaluate, how fast do you look. So what you do is you write all these points down, make your own short forms, make your own abbreviations, just put it down so that when a person speaks on stage, you just tick, 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 or write against it. That's how you finish things in 5 minutes. Now, when you say eye contact, be more specific because what you're saying should be of service, S, to your speaker. How can you make it specific? Does the guy span over the entire crowd? Or does he lock eyes? Just spanning from here to here doesn't make sense, right? You got to connect. How do you connect? You lock your eyes with the person when you speak. Like right now amongst the audience, you know many of you, I'm looking at you and speaking. That is called locking eyes. I can span. Let's just see, this is how you span, okay? This is how you span. I'm not really stopping or looking at a person. So you need to see, does the guy span? Does the person span your eyes? Does he lock the eyes? And does he look to different segments of the crowd? These are the 3 that come under eye contact. When you're moving further down, hand gestures. People might use hand gestures all the time, but is it appropriate? Does hand gestures precede your action or does it come after your action? This is something you need to notice, because sometimes when we are saying things, our hand gestures do not sync. Like it comes, when it is practiced, it comes, but it comes after you say. After you say the word and you do the hand gesture. This is the first point in hand gesture. Does the person's hand gesture come before or after the action, or is it in sync? Is it positive and outward, or is it intrusive and negative? Anything that with open hands denotes positive and outward. Anything which is intrusive is towards your body is negative. These are the things you assess in hand gestures. When you come to legs, see some people stand rooted this way. Do you think that's the right way to stand? No, that isn't. That's not how you stand in front of an audience. When you stand in front of an audience, the distance between your foot is the distance between your shoulders. The same width. If you have a wider shoulder, keep a wider one. It helps in two ways. One, it shows an exceedingly high amount of confidence. And two, it helps you stand rooted. Even if you're scared, it's not going to show because you are rooted. Now, when you move, how would it feel if you take big strides across the stage? How would it feel? What do you feel now when you see me taking big strides across the stage?
Confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm also scared. I'm a bit nervous maybe. Yes, I'm rushing. I'm trying to remember what's going to happen if I take minute. This is my normal step. I'm too small to show minute steps, but what if I take steps like this and move this way? You get the same effect, or the opposite effect. So always make sure that your leg strides are purposeful and of equal lengths. Don't make it too much, don't make it too short. This is what we evaluate in the speaker again. Person is looking so confused, like, my God, do you really evaluate this way? The next thing is your stance. Your stance is very important. The stance is measured from here to here. This much is the part where you go for stance. When the speaker speaks, does the speaker bend forward too much? If he bends forward too much, he is looking for attention. He just wants it. He wants it all. If he moves backward, what does it mean? If he arches backward, what does it mean? Arrogance. He's defensive. He doesn't want to take it. Stand straight. You want your person to take what you say take what you say seriously. Stand straight. Assess your speaker by his stance. Facial expressions. You can't say, I'm sad, right? Mean what you say, look what you say. Facial expressions is another thing we're going to assess now. Christy is like, I'm going to work out, I don't want to be assist today. Okay, so we've covered all this part, and next, purposeful usage of stage area. That's the last one that falls under body language. Like I explained, if a person is doing an oratorical speech, you stand rooted and you give your speech. But if you have a free stage and you have a hands-free mic, you use the stage. Use the stage to connect with your audience. You go closer to your audience. When you're talking about the future, make an opportunity to come to the front. Make an opportunity to go to the back. Make sure you use the stage purposefully. Again, I use the word purposeful usage of speaking area. When you have a huge stage, please don't try to run from one end to the other. It doesn't make sense. Like the one we had at Division F conference, like when we had our contest. It was so big, it was impossible to run from one end to the other, and especially for a person like me, it would look like I'm on a marathon. When you do that, see where your speaker stands. If it's a huge stage, where do you stand? You come to the front of the stage, take 4 proper strides. That's the proper amount. You're not, like if this was a huge stage and I was at a higher platform, take 4 proper strides from the middle of the stage. Take the distance of about 10 to 2 sides and frame your speaking area. Do not go beyond that. It will look really crazy. You will look like a joker on stage. Don't do it. So when your speaker uses the stage, have this in mind. We've covered body language. Too much information in one go, right? I know, you all look so confused. That's why I wanted you all to just write the abbreviations down so that, when your speaker is on stage, you just put points down. The second part of vocal variety. This is where I want you to figure things out by yourself. Okay? I'm going to give you all 2 minutes. You're allowed to use your phone. What you need to do is figure out what constitutes vocal variety. I will give you just one example. Volume is one. He shouted. She whispered. That's a work with volume, right? Volume is one of vocal variety. I'm going to put the timer on. I am a behavioral therapist, which means I work specifically on time. Can I have my phone? Please Google right now. You can be in teams of 2 or 3. Probably just be in teams of 2 or 3. You can Google and write down, give me a list of vocal variety stuff that you would be focusing on. Yes.
There is one thing that we can link to vocal variety, which is speech. 4 P's for vocals as I recall.
Yes.
Which is pace.
Yes. Don't
Pitch.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. 2 minutes, guys, and your time starts now. Please work together. Bring about a lot of things, vocal variety. Let's see. No. Oh, yeah, I'm going to ask, okay? How many of you got more than 5? Which teams have got more than 5? Awesome. Oh, okay. More than 7? How many have you got? 7. And how many have you got?
7.
How many have you got?
6.
Okay, so let's. How many of you got more than 3? Less than 3. Less than 4. Less than 5. Alright, we'll start with them. Go ahead. Alright, what are the things that you've got?
Volume.
Okay. Hey, you can't take that, I just gave you that.
Actually, I remember it from something I found on the internet.
Okay.
VPPT. Volume, pace, pitch, and tone.
Okay, volume, pace, pitch, and tone. Can you explain pace? Can you explain pitch?
Pitch, it's like, if I'm not mistaken, say, I was just telling, I love Toastmasters. It's like a fact. I love Toastmasters. Like a question.
Okay, close.
I love Toastmasters.
Go ahead, let me explain. Okay, we go to pitch, right? There's a high pitch, there's a low pitch. When you're talking about something serious or grave, you talk in a low voice with your pitch low. When you want to say something, she was so excited and she screamed and she yelled, your pitch is higher. That's what pitch is. Tone. Tone is when you it changes according to your emotions. I'm irritated and angry. That's tone. I'm happy, yes, let's do it, I'm excited. That's a different type of pitch is high, the tone is high as well. Yes.
The tone works with the values as well. So
Sorry.
you are doing different characters in your speech, then you will change the tone of your speech.
Tone changes with your emotions. Characterization changes with characters. So there's again a fine, minute difference, which matters when you are evaluating. Because the more specific your evaluation is, the more it benefits and more it is of service S to your speaker. Good, alright. And then tone, we cover tone, we pick and pace. Pace, how do you cover pace?
Speaking quickly or speaking slowly.
Number of words in the minute.
Your speed or the number of words that you use, more or less there, yeah, more or less there. Pace is how fast you say things. She was excited, she just kept on saying things. He was down. He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore. You see how it is low pace and high pitch? Low pace and high pace? That's what pace is about. Can we have the other teams add any other segments of vocal variety that are not included so far? Pause. Yes. This one word makes it or breaks it. Alright? Pause is everything in a speech. It's almost everything in a speech. This is where you can get your points. Unconsciously, we might have certain pauses between words. Analyze your speaker by that. Look for points that makes you special. When you're evaluating, look for points that others would not really find out. Pause is one great method. When your speaker speaks, sometimes he clubs 4 words together. Then he gives a pause. Then he clubs another 4 together. And then he gives a pause. How do you measure it? Once you start picking out, you have all your little abbreviations, right? And then you start picking out points, start counting. When your person speaks, count in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he's taken a pause. Put a pause again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a pause. If you find it 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. And it sounds okay. It's fine. Let pause go. Do not measure it again. Alright? So see if there is a pattern with your pauses. That's one way you can do it. Anything else, guys? Fluency? What do you mean by fluency? Can you explain it a bit more further? Does it have something? Does it have something to do more or less with the lines of rhythm?
Yeah.
Rhythm? Okay, let's call it rhythm then, okay? It's like, do you have a sing-song tone to all your sentences? Do you have a certain rhythm? Some people trail off their volume towards the end of the sentence. Just notice, be observant, guys. When somebody speaks, be observant. Look for things outside the ordinary. Are they trailing off? Or do they have a sing-song nature to all the sentences that they use? Observe that. Rhythm. What else?
Emphasis.
Power projection.
Emphasis, perfect. Emphasis. Do you emphasize on a word? Like, I am doing the workshop. The emphasis is on I. I'm doing the workshop. Emphasis is on workshop. Is emphasis being used at the right place or is it being used at the wrong place? Excellent point.
Resonance.
Repeat, reiteration, good one, and resonance, a good one. Reiteration. Sometimes when you analyze a speech, right, you see this trend where, do you remember our champion's winning speech? Never stop picking. Do you remember how many times he repeated that? That is called reiteration. He's repeated it 3 times if I'm not mistaken. Hisham, 3 times throughout the entire speech, I think. No, 6 is when you add the other first 3 parts. I think three is
because Raj says it to me twice, then I say it 3 times, and in the end I say it as well, so around 5 or 6 times.
5 to 6 times. So now you got the count and the number of times that he has reiterated a sentence. So repetition is called reiteration. Is that reiteration appropriate? Is it too much? Is only one phrase being reiterated or is he reiterating too much, confusing people? These are things you should remember. And then resonance. What is resonance?
The quality of your voice and everything.
Yeah, resonance can also be measured like, he was crazy. You know how you twist and turn and pull the word to give it more effort? That's called resonance. We've got a lot of stuff in vocabulary. I didn't say it, you guys did. I didn't say it. You guys figured it out. So now you've got these, put them down. Put them down in a way that you will remember, okay? Not in a way that I'm going to remember. Put them down in the sheet so that it's easy for you. We've covered, now there's only one more part. How has the speaker divided the speech? An introduction, a middle part, or a body, and a conclusion. That's really not very important because now you would find one paragraph as a pre-introduction, then you will find an introduction part, then you will find multiple different messages in the body, multiple stories in the body that link to one common message. You might find a pre-conclusion and a conclusion. So now you can't really divide it like introduction, body, and conclusion anymore. Every speaker's style is different. So do not literally stick to, did he have a body, did he have an introduction, did he have a body, did he have a conclusion? Don't go by that, guys. Give the speaker the space. We've covered integrity now, alright? From right, we've finished integrity. Now you've got too many points, right? And how many minutes do we have for evaluation?
3.
2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. How can we say all this in 2 to 3 minutes?
Select the most
Priorities.
Prioritize. When the speaker speaks, do not wait until he finishes speaking to write your points down. That's why the moment you get your paper, I tell you to list these points down. List these points down. Divide them if you can. Put it as body language or this one, that's one style. Or you can put positives and negatives, that's another style. If you're constantly evaluating, it's going to be pretty easy for you. You don't have to list this down, you will remember. When you're observing, you will remember. Make it a practice. Now, when you're prioritizing, this comes under service. What you're saying has to be useful to the person and the person should be able to implement it, right? The person should be able to implement it. If you say too much, he's going to get so confused and he's going to walk out thinking he was a total failure. If you say too little, he's going to walk out thinking he did everything amazingly well, which probably he did, and he would not see the scope of improvement, right? So, pick a maximum of 3 points. Only a maximum of 3 points. Okay, maximum of 4 points and a minimum of 3. Let's put it somewhere in the middle. Do not take more than that because you can't just say, hey, your volume was not good, hey, your pitch was not good. You can't say things like that. You can't just say, you need to explain it so the person understands. Otherwise, your evaluation is just a fancy evaluation. It doesn't make sense. It sounds fancy, sounds good, but it's not going to be useful. So what you say has to be in service and off service. Alright? Now R, how you say it matters. You need to be respectful. You cannot say things like, you didn't do this, and when I was listening to your speech, I observed that you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this. If someone would do that to me, I would just block her and I would be like, see my completely invisible middle finger, Mr. Fellow. I don't even care what you say. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. It will be a mental block. Instead, try. Do not just give the direction. Say, during your speech, I observed at this particular place you said so and so. I presume what you were trying to say is so and so. If you try making it and moving it a bit from here to here, in my opinion, I think you could do it much better than how you did it right now. How does that sound? How does that sound? Yeah. You're just giving your opinion. You're not forcing it. You take it if you'd like to. It's okay if you don't, because that's your style. It's okay, this is my opinion, that's all. What you say has to be respectful, definitely respectful. If a speaker listens to your evaluation and goes home demotivated, trust me, you have failed as an evaluator, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I will tell you right upright, you should be ashamed of yourself if your speaker is demotivated. So make sure you respect. The last one, excellence. When you put things across, personalize it, that it sounds unique and it sounds like you. For example, you want to say something like, this is something that I did, just an example, okay? Your pauses were timed. When I noticed this sentence from here to here, your pauses were timed. You had a rhythm of 1, 2, 3, and 4. For example, if you're saying something like, I want to say this particular style of, you see how the rhythm says goes 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. That's a way to explain it to them. And how can you just say there was a pause, your pause was not right, and your rhythm was not right? Bring out the unique you. Say something like, pause can make you or break you. So, you had a rhythm of 4 words in my observation. It might sound confusing to you, but this is how you said it. Why don't you try to move it from a series of 4 words and just lose yourself, record your speech and try listening to it again. This is my first point. The second point, what's another point that I can say? Suppose a person had too many elements in the speech. Instead of saying, your entire speech for me I felt had too many elements. Bring out the punch word, show your power, show your uniqueness, make what you say excellent. By saying something like, declutter your speech. Declutter your speech. And then you explain what you meant by declutter. So they're like, wow, that person said something that's striking, some phrase that's striking. Now I need to listen. And the third one, like you said, Doc, earlier you said the 4 P's. Doc and Hassan, you said the 4 P's. You can say the third point, like, remember your 4 P's. Like, what is 4 P's? You know, you get the curiosity, you get the interest, people will start listening. Say something like that. Now you understood, like we've already covered respect. How can you be respectful? How can you, what you say, how do you stick on to your integrity when you say? How can what you say be of service to the person? How can you bring excellence in itself? These are the 4 points that we've covered in detail. Now the basic structure of an evaluation speech. This is the last part, after which VT and Christine will come forward and do his speech. And we are all going to evaluate in the paper. I will call some of you out. So, when you are evaluating, have you heard of the sandwich method?
Yes.
See, everyone's heard of it. What's unique about it? That's what's unique about it. Nothing. Don't do it. I'm sorry, I sound like a person who says break the rules, but supposedly breaking the rules does make you unique, right? You don't always have to go by the sandwich method. Sandwich method is one method to do it. It's just one method. There are so many other different ways. You can bring out the best in the person first, and then go ahead with really critical evaluation in the middle. And then in the end, whatever happens, you must sum up in the end. Because if you don't sum up your constructive criticism and your constructive points, the speaker is going to go away thinking, he's not going to remember anything, trust me, he's not going to. Like, you know the evaluations you have received, how many do you remember? And how many other ones you do remember? And what made those evaluations special? Why did you remember it? These are things you need to keep in your mind. Okay? The style that you evaluate is purely yours. It doesn't matter. When you're bringing out the positive points, do not say your body language was excellent, you know, you came and you used the stage and you walked around. No. What in body language was there? What in vocal variety did you do good? Because only then you can be specific when you give constructive evaluation. Imagine how you said your body language was good in a lot of places, and then when you're moving to constructive criticism, but there were certain parts of body language that you needed to correct. How stupid would you sound as an evaluator, right? And we're like, she has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. So be specific, be constructive, be positive. You rise and you let the speaker rise. Right? Now you have all your points in the piece of paper. You're all ready for evaluating TM Christie. How I would like you to evaluate. The moment TM Christie takes DTM Christie, I'm so sorry, I'm very bad with all these stuff. DTM Christie. The moment DTM Christie takes the stage, then you start ticking. As he is speaking, you need to finish having your base in your paper. Okay? You're going to get 5 minutes after that to build it up and to create your fancy words and regarding to excellence, work on your excellence in the last part of it. But in those 5 to 7 minutes when DTM Christie speaks, you need to finish jotting down your points. By the end of that 5 minutes, that's the timeline. By the end of the first 5 to 7 minutes in which Christie speaks, you should already have underlined the positive points that you want to say and the negative points you want to say. Not negative points, points of improvement. Excuse my language. Points of improvement. You should also have that in mind. So have 3 of the best qualities that the person has and 3 of the most important things in your opinion of what you think this speaker should improve on. Alright? Can we do that? 5 to 7 minutes, this is what you do. And when you get that 5 minutes after DTM Christie finishes, that's when you start polishing your language to make it excellent. The E part comes in the rest 5. That's when you think, how am I going to organize my points? What is my style? Is it the sandwich style? Is it a different style? And what are the, you move to excellence. How fancy can I make my words? How can I make it sound? How many phrases can I push it down to? Alright? All good?
Yes.
Alright. Should I turn it back to the table?
No, you can comment.
Alright guys, now with a loud round of applause, let's call upon our super DTM Christie, mentor-mentee relationship. Mentor-mentee relationship, DTM Christie.
Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good evening.
I'm going to talk today about mentor-mentee relationship. Could you raise your hand if at any time you are a mentor to somebody? You got quite a few. As a mentor, you have to identify what the needs of your mentee. You have to talk to the mentee to identify what he or she expects from us. That is the beginning point of a relationship. The mentor should be knowledgeable, he should have the wisdom, he should be able to dedicate time, and he should be willing to listen. These are the basic requirements. As a mentee, you should have the patience, you should know what you expect from the mentor, you should talk to the mentor openly what you expect from him or her. And spend time communicating with the mentor each time you need a help. Today I am going to speak about how in Toastmasters Club the mentor-mentor relationship works. In Toastmasters Club, a mentor how to explain how a meeting runs in a Toastmaster Club. How a mentee can write a speech. What are the roles and responsibilities of the executive committee of the club? And how a club can improve he or she as a mentee in her daily life or personal life. How this starts. A new member comes, VP Education introduce the member to a mentor. Mentor start discussing not during the meeting, after the meeting, calls the mentee, discuss with the mentee what are their objective in joining a club. Start explaining the roles of each ExCom members and how the club will run with the various role players in the meeting. Example, when a new member comes, you never know what is TMOD, what is general evaluator, what is an evaluator. So we have to explain these roles to the mentee for the mentee to understand what are these roles. Now, people doesn't know what is pathway or how to go to pathway to run. We can say, I am in pathway level 1, level 2, level 3, but what is pathway? A mentee doesn't know. We have to explain to her what is pathway, how to access and get these resources. We have to sit with the mentee and explain to them. So they will be used to it, they will start connecting with the system and pulling out these resources from Toastmaster resources or TA site. Now let me connect some of my personal example or experiences with Toastmasters as a member and also as I was area director, I was a division director, or I am still a division director. When I connect with a new member, when they seek my help, I will explain to the member these aspects of how a club runs, plus I will ask them to start reading the manuals. I will ask them to start taking a project or take a table topics. Now, how I can help them? If they start writing a speech example, I have to explain, you have to read the manuals, you have to come out, start putting what you want to deliver in a Toastmaster speech and write it and communicate it with me. I will go through those, the script, what he or she sent to me, put my corrections and return back to the speaker or the mentee. And then I will ask them to deliver the speech and send it to me by voice or video. I will review it and I will send it back to them. So a mentor-mentee interaction continuously happens, which will improve the confidence of the member. That is how we communicate in a club mentor and mentee. Now let me go to the area director level, what I did as an area director. I sought the help of my seniors. D.K. Malka was my senior at that time, immediate past area director. I sought the help from her. I also spoke to other area directors who were at that time to get their help. So I can achieve or I can attain the knowledge and the experience from them, so I will make less mistakes in my journey as area director. Each one of us will face challenges and we have to rise up to it by seeking help from others. We have to conduct programs, we have to also visit other clubs. These are part of our educational role as an area director and as a member. Now let me move to my next role as a division director now, which I am carrying. My immediate past division director is here. She is my mentor in this, DJ Fatima Abdullah is here. She is my mentor as a division director. We interact each other, and in each of the division meetings I call her to seek her help, to communicate with the others also. With my area directors, I seek their help for whatever problems I am challenging. So, ladies and gentlemen, mentor-mentor relationship have a very big role in developing each and every one of us. Most important thing in this journey is to seek help from others, seek help from the mentor, and also as a mentor, you listen to your mentees and take correct decisions. So whatever we do, we can achieve the final objective as a Toastmaster, and also this will be reflected in your personal life. So with this, I would like to hand over to the Toastmaster.
My evaluation. So now we're going to start for 5 minutes time, okay? And in those 5 minutes is when you're going to organize the things that you want to say, work on the E part, the R part, be respectful, and what you say needs to be answered. So let's do the prioritizing, respectful style of speaking and giving suggestions, and work on the E part that makes you unique. The 5 minutes starts now. Alright, time's up. Which means you get no more minutes, no more time to discuss it, or because you're literally pulled on stage now. Now is the time that they say, alright, give me your papers, please stop practicing, everything is done. Or now it's the time we say, first speaker, time to go up on stage. Alright. So, teams, can we settle down? We're going to do this evaluation in parts, and then I will do one evaluation separately to show you how I evaluated in my style, and we will go like that. Can I have one person who's ready to do the starting or opening of the evaluation? How would you like to do it? Yes. Opening part of the evaluation.
In life, we are born with a blank CD. We learn from others, and in the process, we teach others. So life is a sum of being a mentor and mentee throughout our life.
Excellent. That's an amazing opening. You can always use a quote, or you can use your own learning experience to open. That's one style. And then you're going to address the audience and your speaker, right? One point. Can we refrain from saying things like special good afternoon to my target speaker? That's something that was discussed in today morning's, in the Toastmasters meeting that was held today morning by the then grammarian T.M. Lawson, which is a very valid point. We have a tendency of saying Toastmasters or contest chair, Toastmasters, and a special good evening to my target speaker. Why do you want to give the special good evening only to your target speaker? Why not to everybody? Alright, that's one. Excellent job. Can we try another style of doing an introduction? How do you open your evaluation section? Deepak made it personal, and he used a quote. Does anyone else want to give a try with the opening? Give it a try, guys. It's fine. We make mistakes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No one's going to be graded.
One of the most, I'll say, one of the most outstanding aspect of your speech is you choose a very personal, very relevant topic and present it very well. Congratulations for that.
Alright, so that's how you're going to open yours. That's fine too. That's your style. It's perfectly fine. There's no good style and there's no bad style. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Alright, so after that, so there are some people who start with the salutation. That's fine too. If that's your style, go ahead with the salutation. Or you start with a quote or a personalizing, or you go directly congratulating the person or your speaker for completing the speech. That's excellent. And then you move to salutation. Can we move? What do you want to say next? Like, if I was to ask you, Ellen, what is the next thing you would want to say? What is that one positive point that you want to highlight in his speech today? And remember the E, R, and the S.
I think I missed out on the ER and S, but I would say that as his prodigy, I'm glad to hear the person's side of his story so that I can refer to it on my journey as an AD or whatever is coming up. So yeah, that is how I would try to encourage him.
Okay, what's the exact wordings that you would use? You are addressing him, so use the exact words. What would you say?
BGM Christie, I'm glad. BGM Christie, I'm glad to hear your journey as a leader, as an area director, and as a division director. So, as your prodigy, I'm glad to hear your story. This is what you want me to say.
Yeah, okay. Alright, this is the explanation of the point that you want to say, right? How can you shorten it so that it becomes a point, a positive, a phrase that he can take? Something like, thank you for your prodigy. Like prodigy, exactly what do you mean by it?
I mean, I'll be following his footsteps.
Okay. Thank you for being that person that I want to look up to you. So you can maybe say something like, the best part of your speech or the best highlight of today's speech that struck me personally is your personal touch and your experience in the speech. Thank you for personalizing your speech. Or you can say the best part is how you personalized your speech. That personalized your speech is the phrase. And then you explain. For example, you explained your journey as an AD. You explained your journey as a leader of how you worked as a mentor and as a mentee, building the mentee up. So you use a phrase in which you can condense the entire thing that you want to say. So you can highlight only this point and then give the explanation. That's one. Thank you so much, Ellen, for that point. What's the second point you would like to say? Yes, Ms. K. Tell him.
DTM Christie, the first and foremost excellent aspect of the speech you gave today is the choice of topic. Because for the new ExCom members over here who are upcoming, and for the new Toastmaster members, it was a great topic because now we have an idea of how it works, the mentor and mentorship.
Good, Manaskia. I loved how you made it your choice of topic. That's the phrase, that's the catchword. One point that makes your speech today really special is your choice of topic. Put emphasis there when you say choice of topic, so people remember choice of topic, personal story. All right. What's the next positive point anyone wants to put forward? Yes.
DTM Christie, today we are glad to understand that mentor-mentee relationship doesn't really end at the club level. All of us have this notion that once we have graduated from a particular level, we may not refer back to our mentor. You, by explaining us what happened at the club level, area and the division level, have shown us clearly that the relationship exists throughout your Toastmasters career.
Thank you, Tejasvi, for the point. How do you shorten that? Thank you for pointing out that there is no end line or there is no timeline to a mentor-mentee relationship. So you remember personal story, then you remember choice of topic, timeline of mentor-mentee relationship. So when you say, this is one way in which you could say, the three things that I loved best about your speech is the way you used personal story, the way your choice of topic, and the way you emphasized on the fact that there is no timeline to a mentor-mentee relationship. And then you explain it. Point number one, personal story. I love the way in which you made, you explained every point. So that strikes, that stays. Now, you need to move on to constructive evaluation. How do you move to constructive evaluation now? You need to have a pre-intro to your constructive evaluation. How would you like it to be? How would you start? Like, one of you, how do you want to start? You want to dive in directly to the constructive evaluation? Of course not, right? You can't just say all this good thing and then say, oh, but, and you can't move that way. So how do you make it smooth? How do you make it smooth? You want to give it a try? Yes.
could be like Toastmasters is the platform where we grow as a speaker, and from that perspective, allow me to share with you some improvement points.
That's an excellent way to do it. That's a very humble, a very straightforward, very touching way to do it. Excellent. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to try something? Yes?
DTM Christie, you have given us the ABCs of a good speech. Let me give you my ABCs to make it even better.
Excellent. Excellent job. All right, that's great. And you can also connect it to his speech. His speech was all about mentor and mentee relationship, and all about how it helps in personal growth. You can even use that style. So one of the ways in which I might also do it is like everyone, or like he said, Toastmasters is a learning platform. Every moment and every second of your life is a learning opportunity. If we imbibe and take only the best out of what everybody tells us, we always step further and forward. So here are my 3 points with which we can incorporate, my 3 suggestions with which you can probably take this speech a little more higher than you took us today. So there, I already encouraged him, I already told him what he has done is an amazing job and how he could make it a bit more better. Can we start with the correction points, or constructive criticism now? Does anyone want to go with it? Remember, constructive criticism has to be respectful, it needs to be of service, and the choice of words has to be unique and has to be empowered. Excellent.
DTM Christie, you explained mentor and mentees' role, responsibilities very clearly what they should do. You know, if just to be more clear where the mentor and mentee are, if in the starting when you were explaining both the role players, if you could have positioned them in the stage, then it would have been more easier for us to absorb and distinguish between the 2 role players.
Okay, how can you put it in a phrase? Like this is, like I understand the whole gist, but you need to put it in a phrase because otherwise how will you sum it up? You can't say the whole thing when you sum. So what you exactly mean is you want to see the characters. Is that what you said?
Yeah, like when you are explaining the mentor, you are here, then about the mentee qualities.
So use of stage when you talk about mentor and mentee.
In the starting when you are explaining the role.
No, she says you compress it and say in few words.
So that it stays.
That's my problem.
Let's try it out this way, okay?
No, speak speed.
What you said is excellent. That's the explanation of it. You can say, my first suggestion, DTM Christie, is to characterize and position your characters on the stage so that it has an impact to us and we can position characters. So you can say position your characters on the stage. And then you explain the rest. So position your character on the stage would remain in the head. Excellent. You understood what I'm trying to say, right? Good. What's the next point? Somebody else. Sure.
DTM Christie, your presentation was, I felt it is very excellent today, and it was without much full of words or anything. But what I want to say is you have prepared so well and you have personalized it, and if you can interact a bit with the audience, it would have been a very lively presentation. We'll add some humorous or a bit of a smile in between. It would have made a much better presentation. This is what I want.
Alright, so how you could probably say it, like what you did is right, what you said is right. How can you make him remember what you said? Build bridges with humor. That's the way of saying it. Connect with humor. Connect with the smiles. A smile goes a long way, you know, something like that is what you do. Thank you so much. You want to say something? Another one.
One of the great ways to interact with the audience is to break the ice by asking them a question. And you really did a great job doing that. And in your speech, I saw some areas where you can include that again and again. For example, you could use, people don't know what pathway is. How many of you remember when you come to the Toastmaster pathway? Nobody. Some people, what are some advantages you gain with your mentors? You can engage the audience with your speech with this point.
So yeah, engage the audience with questions or humor. That's what you mean, right? So state your purpose first and then do the explanation so it's more clear. What TM Sindhumol and what TM Shwazuk has used is a sandwich method. Did you notice how he said the positive and then he put the constructive feedback and then he moved to the positive and then he put the constructive feedback? That's a sandwich method that can be done as well. Alright, do we have any more correction points? We reached 3.
DJM Christie, in your speech you had wonderful tips and tricks which would work in a mentor-mentee relationship. But the usage of words is something which I would like to emphasize. Most of them were commands in which you should do this, you should do this. Instead of that, the best practices would be, if you explain it, the best practice would be like this. It would give you more result. That would be more connecting to the audience.
That's good. So your choice of words, that is what you want him to remember. Excellent, guys. You all did an amazing evaluation right now. It was constructive feedback. It's very useful. Can we move to the conclusion part? What do you do in the conclusion?
You wrap up.
You summarize, you wrap up, and then you also leave a positive message with him. So he goes away thinking, yes, I did this and I can make it better. Can someone move to the conclusion part? Can someone summarize?
I have a question. It's like the summarized, is it like they call it recommendations?
Yeah, your recommendations.
Or it's
It's all your recommendations, plus you're giving him that take-home push, that energizing capsule before he moves out, before you end your talk. So summarizing would be something like, yes,
DJM Christie, to summarize it, what we heard today is an informative speech that we will take with us home and remember how the relationship happens. Just remember, your good points is your confidence, how you stand and how you talk. We'll focus on the positioning of the stage and the word structure more often, and your speech will be moved to another level. Looking forward to hearing new speeches from you and learning a lot.
That's an amazing conclusion, Bri. See how she summarized all the points that we said, and she left him with a really positive note. That's how you conclude. So now, thank you so much for the group evaluation. I don't think we've ever did a group evaluation before. I'm not really sure if we did, but I'm really glad with the group evaluation that you have given. So how I would do it, give me 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes for a proper evaluation now, okay? This is how I would do it. Since I didn't look in for the 5 minutes that you got, I was busy observing what you all were doing that I lost. So please allow me to refer to paper. I don't usually use paper at all when I give an evaluation. So I would come up, take my hands, position myself in the middle of the stage so that my position is powerful, my stance is powerful. I would probably look around to have an idea of everybody. I'm going to connect and lock my eyes with everybody, and then I will start. There are very few people in life who you feel they mean what they say. Like they say, leaders are the ones who walk the way, walk the talk, and walk the way and show you the way. Toastmasters, friends, and that one amazing leader who has walked the way and then showed the way, DTM Christie, good evening. Your speech today on mentor-mentee relationship was apt for the period. I loved what you did, and these are my points which I think you made the speech and you took the speech a notch higher. I loved your powerful stance and your body command and your confidence when you were speaking. Your stance was perfect. Your body was upright. Every moment of yours exuded confidence. The second positive part that I saw in your speech today, which struck me personally, was the usage of your hand gestures. I noticed how your hand gestures were outward, positive, in time, and in sync with every little word that you said. And that helped take your speech a notch higher. The third positive point that I would like to bring about and point today is the ease and the soothingness of your voice. Your voice was calm and you were in command. You knew what you wanted to say and you meant what you said. That struck me as a listener to your speech. Now, every person's life is a journey, and every speech is a learning experience, both for the listener and for you as a speaker. Here are my 3 tips with which you can take the speech to a different level. Point number 1. Have purposeful usage of speaking area. this usage of speaking area be in sync. Purposeful usage of speaking area and let it be in sync. I know you used 3 different parts of the stage. You moved from here to here to here. But there was a pause, there was a stop. If you could notice and pay a bit more attention to making sure that the smooth transition between your purposeful movements on stage, it could take your speech a bit more higher. Now, practice the 2 P's and the 1 we. The PP-we, your pause, your pace, and your volume. Throughout the speech, I felt that you had pauses everywhere. Pauses are powerful, but when used at the right time is when it has the right impact. Raise your volume when it is required, lower it when it is required as well. The third point, bring out the storyteller in you, and then bring us back to the facts. When you say your entire speech as a story and then draw inferences, we listen, we concentrate. DTM Christie, you are an amazing leader. You have set examples for us throughout. Every single time we see you, you inspire us. If you could take these 3 suggestions, point number 1, purposeful usage and synchronizing your movements on stage, using your PPVs, your pauses, your paces, and your volume, and bring out the storyteller in you and then pull out the facts, I can see you scaling heights much higher than you did today. Over to you. You know, something like this. It's been of a bit of a value. It has helped improve you a bit at least, because I've learned a lot from the evaluation points that you gave today. Thank you for being with me today, and thank you for being part of my journey. Over to you, Joseph.